Very good afternoon to all of you. Thanks for joining us here on Mirror Now. I am Afrida Rahman Ali. First up, updates coming in from the Supreme Court on the Kanwar Yatra. What we are given to understand is that the top court has now issued a notice to UP government for allowing the Kanwar Yatra, even as the threat of the third wave loom large. The top court will hear the matter on Friday. Now, interestingly, this comes a day after Uttarakhand already cancelled the event. The entire Kanwar Yatra is now called off for the second year in a row, even as UP had decided to resume the Yatra with COVID norms in place. Yesterday, the UP government said that it has decided to allow the Yatris from the 25th of July and only minimum pilgrims will be allowed for the Kanwar Yatra. Uttarakhand government, on the other hand, said it cannot play with the lives of people amid the pandemic. In fact, let's get in more inputs on this. My colleague Harish Nair joining me with more inputs. Harish, at this point of time, of course, this was much needed. You couldn't have a Kanwar Yatra being allowed with congregation of large numbers, even though, of course, this is the second year in a row, but the juncture at which the country is right now does not allow any kind of gathering, particularly after what happened in the Kumbh Mela.
Yes, that is very right. Supreme Court has taken so much cognizance of the decision of the UP government to allow the annual Kanwar Yatra amidst this COVID pandemic. And also, what is very significant is that even the Supreme Court has pointed to what the Prime Minister had said that that such congregations cannot be allowed, and that is the most important part. The court took the apex court of the country has taken so much of cognizance that is on its own, given the urgency of the situation, as it is said from media reports that it is learned that the yatra is proposed to be held from July 25th to August 6th. Supreme Court took note of the fact that when the last time the yatra was organized, last time in 2019, nearly 3.5 crore devotees, that is the Kavadiyas, had visited Haridwar, and that is a matter of concern, while over 2 to 3 crore people had visited other pilgrimage spots in Western UP, and Supreme Court is of the clear view that this can be a super spreader, yet another super spreader, and want to know the stand of the UP government and the center regarding this. And this is what the court told Solicitor General of India. Exactly, I am reading out from the verbatim exchange. The
Yes.
Justice Rohinton Nariman said, amid fears of a possible third wave of COVID-19, the Uttarakhand government has suspended the Kanwar Yatra, even as neighboring UP is pressing ahead with the annual ritual that sees a heavy movement of pilgrims across states in northern belt. We read something disturbing in the media today, that the state of UP has chosen to continue with the Kanwar Yatra, while the state of Uttarakhand, with its hindsight of experience, has said there will be no yatra. We wish to know what is the stand of the respective governments. This is very important because Supreme Court seeks to know the stand of the UP government and also of the center, because Prime Minister has said that such congregations cannot be allowed. The citizens of India are completely perplexed.
Yes.
They don't know what is going on, and all this amid the Prime Minister, when asked about a third wave of COVID striking the nation, said we cannot compromise even one bit. So these are very, very significant statements coming in from the Supreme Court. And Justice
Yes.
Justice Rohinton Nariman said, we are issuing notice to the center, state of UP, and the state of Uttarakhand, and because the yatra is scheduled to leave from 25th July, we want them to file an early response so that the matter can be heard on Friday. So the all important hearing will be happening on Friday. Supreme Court has raised very serious questions as far as the Kanwar Yatra is concerned.
So clearly, this matter has to be completely resolved once and for all. And like you said, the matter is posted for Friday. We'll come back to you for updates. Harish, thanks for now. Centre, meanwhile, has weighed in saying protecting lives of people is the priority right now. And the centre's position is also clear that the Yatra cannot be allowed. So under the circumstances, how can one state really hold out? Matter, of course, is in court. But first, let's listen into Ajay Bhatt, Minister of State for Tourism, on this matter.
परिस्थितियों में किसी भी तरह से हम लोग कांवड़ यात्रा नहीं चला सकते हैं, क्योंकि जो हमको वहाँ पर गदरपुर में वेरिएंट मिला है अलग से, तो उसको देखते हुए तो और भी खतरा बढ़ सकता है। हम लोगों की ज़िंदगियों को खतरे में नहीं डाल सकते हैं, इसलिए हमारी सरकार ने जो कदम उठाया है, धामी जी की सरकार ने, वो ठीक और उचित समय पर उठाया है।
Amir Haq joining us on the phone line. Amir, this is a pandemic situation. It can be absolutely nobody's case that, a Kanwar Yatra cannot be postponed or called off, because after all, human lives are at stake. It's a pandemic that transmits human to human. Under the circumstances, one fails to understand why even the UP government, even now, is sort of pushing for it, requesting Uttarakhand government to allow yatris in limited numbers, calling for RT-PCR negative certificate. We have seen what happened with the Kumbh, with the testing as well, with almost a lack of testing turning out to be fraud. Why is Yogi Adityanath still pitching for the yatris to be allowed?
Well, Afrida, that's right. In fact, what happened in Kumbh in April this year seems to be a test case because large number of people were found to be infected with COVID-19 virus, and not just in Haridwar and Uttarakhand, but in various parts of the country wherein the people returned back to their homes after attending the Kumbh in Haridwar. So that definitely should stand example for the UP government as well. But it seems that the Yogi government is inclining towards allowing this congregation, because last time as well, this could not be allowed because of COVID-19 surge in cases. Also, it was just after the time that the lockdown was eased out last year. Last year, it was several months after the COVID-19 virus was in fact detected in India. Now the government is hopeful and confident that they have taken enough measures to contain the spread of virus, and therefore they believe that they can go ahead with this congregation in a controlled situation. Now, there are various factors that contribute to it. One, that the active number of cases in Uttar Pradesh have come down to below 1,500. Less than 100 cases per day are being reported in Uttar Pradesh. Over 45 districts have not reported even a single case of COVID-19 over the last several days. So these are reasons why the UP government thinks that organizing the Kanwar Yatra will be safe. But yes, we also spoke to the Religious Affairs Minister in UP, Mr. Neelkant Tiwari, who clearly said that it was not his decision to allow for the Kanwar Yatra. In fact, it was Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath himself who took this decision upon himself. So we still have to receive an official communication as far as...
Yes, let me bring in Anila Singh. Amit, just hold that thought. Anila Singh of the BJP on the phone line with me. Thanks, ma'am, for waiting patiently. Want to ask you this question. The arguments put out by your Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath in Uttar Pradesh, none of this makes sense at this juncture, ma'am. I mean, to argue and say, let's have RT-PCR negative test, or to say we will allow minimum pilgrims, or for that matter to say that UP has now very few cases. I mean, Uttar Pradesh is not an island. Everybody is connected. We are together in this. There seems to be still an intent that somehow, with certain restrictions, the yatris must be allowed. Can that be possible, given that the centre has made its position very clear?
See, I know one thing, and that is Yogi Adityanath ji, if he is saying something, it means. He doesn't talk in air. He knows his capabilities, he knows his government's capabilities, and he knows that how he has to get the work done. So when he is saying that he is all okay, his government is all okay to get Kanwar Yatra conducted, then we must trust him. because he has a system. And we know it very well that if he is saying that, yes, we will allow Kanwar Yatra at the eve of upcoming elections, then we must know one thing, that he
But
is
your
not going to
Union
take any
Minister,
sort of
Tourism
risk.
Minister says we cannot allow this.
Who?
Ajay Bhattji has said that the more important to protect lives of people. The Prime Minister, in fact, says that you cannot have this sort of anticipation for third wave. You have to avert it. For that, we have to follow protocols. Now, having a yatra, ma'am, let's face it, you cannot have COVID protocols in place. Who will monitor? Who will enforce discipline? So it's something that is going against the line of your Prime Minister and other ministers. I mean, are you arguing in favor of Yogi Adityanath in this?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I am totally advocating what Yogi Adityanath ji has said. And the rest, Supreme Court has taken so motu cognizance, and the government is going to reply on the Supreme Court on Friday. And I'm not going to comment anything what Uttarakhand minister or chief minister is saying, because we know it very well. Uttarakhand chief minister, I mean, they have just got a new chief minister. He has to understand the system. He has to create a system. But we have a chief minister who has an experience of 4.5 years, and he has tackled COVID situation in a very well way. So we must trust him when he says, I am all okay and I can conduct, because he knows that if he is going to fail, then he is going to fail in elections as well. So he knows what he is saying. We must trust him. We must have faith in him.
All right, but but the Prime Minister, of course, believes that there should be no crowding. He's against the idea of any public gatherings. He says that the only way that the third wave will not come is if we follow protocols. Can that be ensured? Of course, Uttarakhand has already cancelled it. We are still, of course, looking out for what the top court says in the Friday hearing. Thanks, Anila Singh, for joining us with your views on this.